Oh, nice. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to the Brick City Blockade Star Wars Podcast Network. That's right. We're doing a live stream here. We got a bunch of people across the podcast network and a lot of friends joining us right now here on the podcast network. Sitting right next to me here is Mr. James Brown. I almost said John Brown, but that's because we were doing some of that talk.
I'm John Brown
today.
What's up, John?
Right, and here we go.
And this is how we go. James, how's it going tonight?
It's going pretty well, man. I'm sorry I'm directly directed at you, and then it's kind of ironic that we ended up waiting on you after that. Just man.
That's right there. Sitting right there is Mr. Tom himself, the organizer of White Mountain Comic-Con this year. Tom, how's everything going tonight?
So good.
Love it, love it. And I don't know what RW's doing there.
I'm here. I'm working. I'm trying to put this stuff in the bag. Just keep talking. I'm here.
Okay.
Man, it's like a heist movie.
It really is.
Trying to put the stuff in the bag, man.
And sitting right there is Mr. Sean Michaud, my
What's up, guys?
friend, co-host of the City Blockade podcast. Sean, how's everything going over there?
Pretty good. How you guys doing, everyone?
Yeah, not too bad. Having a lot of fun. It's awesome. We got everybody here to talk about White Mountain Comic-Con tonight, everything happening. And I think we're going to kick it right on over to Tom to start this off. Tom, what gave you the idea of White Mountain Comic-Con, and what made this event so awesome in so many different ways?
Well, I guess, to be honest, what gave me the idea was all the other Comic-Cons suck. So I didn't doing everybody else's cons. It was just, it's a lot of money. It's just politically correct. It's horrible.
You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to
is
worry
overrated.
about that.
It was, it's. I wasn't happy doing any of the other cons, so I decided that doing my own, I could do it my way. Easy and affordable, and just watching RW walk around with like a bag, it's just so distracting. So doing this my way was just the easiest way. And the easiest way to just to get it done and grab the bull by the horns and do it.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go about doing the con, I would have to say. Really is. And it makes a lot of sense to go about it that way, because I totally agree with you, Tom. I have to say, Sean and I can really attest to this. We've been to some cons where we go and we do a panel, and it is just a complete mess. Like, it's very disorganized. There's a lot of, well, he said we're going to do it this way. They said they're going to do it this way. And then you get up there to talk, and it's like,
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I can tell you right now, I was the most disorganized person I've ever met in my life 2 weeks ago.
Oh, don't say that.
You did a lot better than other people did, though.
Well, that means a lot. I mean, I really thought, just about 2 panels. You guys are being like, hey, can you take care of it for me? Because I need to pull this out of my ass quickly. But
And they pulled it off well, didn't they?
they did. They did a great job.
Thank you, RW.
That's because as unprofessional as they are, they're very professional.
Words of wisdom right there.
That's true.
Oh, man. No, absolutely. I mean, those panels are great. I mean, and just to sit down with Chris Harrelson and to even talk about, and James, I'm going to have you talk about this. How cool was it for you, for somebody who not necessarily is at the forefront of The Walking Dead, but somebody who's actually a part of The Walking Dead itself, just to sit there and kind of talk? Because I know you and Chris became pretty good friends. Just in your
Yeah, no, I mean, like, even after the panel, we were, stepping outside and ripping a butt and whatever, just talking and everything. And frankly, he's a pretty cool dude, and I thought it was really cool to just kind of get his perspective on how it was to work with the main Walking Dead and all the people, all the faces that we actually know. Because when he's on screen, his face is covered by all sorts of, like, flesh falling off of it and teeth falling out and eyeballs and junk like that. so you don't really get to see his face much, but he is still an integral part of how the show works.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool to kind of get his perspective on that.
Yeah, and I know just sitting down with him was a really cool conversation. And you know what the best part about it, Tom? And I have to say, just that couch. Can I just say, I want that couch in my house right now.
Can I?
So comfortable for panels. I mean, people were starting to steal it, and James and I were like Ewoks. We're like, wait, and we're trying to like get people off of it because we felt it was ours.
It technically
Yeah,
was ours,
that's.
though.
Actually, I can't take credit. I can't take credit for the couch. I actually think she's sitting at home watching this, but that was all Lisa's idea. So sat here and took credit. When I do get home, I'd probably get slapped in the side of the head with like a woolly yarn or something. I don't know. Dogs.
RW, any comments about being slapped with yarn or wool of any kind?
Wool, that'd be a cheap shot right there if you hit me with wool. But anyways,
Why don't you go check in those bags, though?
I have to get out of here. I just wanted to at least join because I know that I couldn't. But I just want to say before I go that whenever this next White Mountain Comic Con is in November, I think it is, right?
It is November 18th and 19th.
If I'm still breathing, I will be there because I had a blast at the first one, and I think you and your wife and your kids did a hell of a job putting this thing on. And again, kudos to Robin and Sean and James and Brian and Christopher and anybody else that I forgot because I have ADD. But it was a lot of fun, and I'll be back. And I do have to jet out of here, but I wanted to at least get in for a couple seconds to kind of, make my presence known or whatever. But I love you guys, and you guys have fun with the rest of the podcast. I got to go before I no longer have a job.
You gotta make the Kessel run. Got it.
See you guys later.
Thanks, RW.
Yeah,
Take it easy, RW.
oh man,
Oh, he's good. Oh.
I do like we got a little picture of him as
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But
That's
true. That's really true. Now, Sean, one of the things I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to pass it over back to Tom on this one, is it was so cool as a podcast network to go up there. This was really our first con, and this is 100%. I have to give this to Tom and everybody who organized it. For us to come up there and to really sit down with Nalini Krishan and have such an engaging conversation. Can I say, Tom, that this actually was one of our most listened to podcast episodes and one of the most visited things on our Brick City Blockade blog spot and everything that we've done. So thank you for that, because that kind of content was a great, great opportunity for us. And Sean, I'm going to kick it to you. What was one of your favorite moments at White Mountain Comic Con this year?
It was just a great experience there, just to have everyone at the podcast come in, and we all get to see each other, talk to each other, and all that. And especially just sitting down, talking Star Wars, just comics, or be nerds. That's what it's all about, basically. But it was fun to really meet Nalini and Chris Harrelson as well.
Yeah,
Just a great experience, and I hope it'll be another one, November 18th and 19th, guys.
Absolutely. If I may for a moment,
Yeah.
I kind of had the unique experience this year. I quite ashamedly had never been to a con before in my life. So, Tom, this is actually my first experience with any con whatsoever. So it was a phenomenal first experience for me. And I will say that is straight up because I am a broke dude, and I usually cannot afford to go to cons because I know I will spend money that I don't have. So thank you, man, for making this a great experience.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad you guys came, and everybody that did anything, whether it was, you guys went out of your way for me. You really did, and I appreciate that. But it was, that's what it is. That's why I wanted to make it affordable for, it wasn't just, you guys, or not you guys, but James, because he's broke.
You know how the whole military divorcee thing goes, man?
Oh, believe me, I know. $10 to get in. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, it's a pack and a half of butts. So, and if you have a family at $5 a kid, which, and I'll go back to that in a second, for adults, $5 under 16, we actually are going to change it so that way it's $10 for adults. Under 12 is going to be free. So it'll actually be a whole lot cheaper for families for the one coming in November. Just because it's going to fall around the holidays, we figured extra money, let the people spend the money on the vendors. But going back to, you being broke, I'm just going to keep laying that out there. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it, man. I kind of opened myself up to that one. Jerk.
Taking $10 from somebody who, you've never been to a con because you couldn't afford to go. I mean, that's a con or anywhere else. It's going to cost you, what, $30 to get in. You want to meet Nalini, it's probably going to cost you an extra $20. You want to get her to sign something, it's probably going to cost you an extra $20 on top of that. But it didn't. Not at this one, it didn't, because do things my way.
Yeah, and I mean, Tom, I have to say, it was your way or the highway, and that's how a con should be run. Again, Sean and I can attest to this. We've done multiple Comic-Cons where, you get organizers involved in stuff, and you really lose the fan factor at a con. You lose the ability for the fans to really interact with people that you bring in, and I've just seen it so many times that, you lose that interaction piece, and then fans start complaining, and then they get online, and
Especially
then the con really does take a hit.
This con was probably the best one to get interaction, because it was small enough to everyone to go around and interact with each other, meet personally, one-on-one, and it's just great to have a small con and have it your own way.
It makes it so much easier. It makes it easier for the people, the fans. It makes it easier for the vendors. I mean, not that I know of. I mean, and if they want to say something after this, they can. But I didn't get one complaint from a vendor. I got suggestions. No actual complaints. Everybody said they did well. They were happy. They were happy with the venue. A lot of the people weren't happy with the times. We might actually shorten it a little bit for the next one because, I'm used to getting up early. So I made it so gates were, doors were at 8:30 and we're closing at 7. I mean, for me, I'd rather be at a con for 12 hours, but but we're gonna, for everybody's sake, I'm getting made fun of. There you go. I got you. Thank you for crediting me. This is a message from Lisa. Good thing I gave her props.
You made the right decision. You made the right decision.
But yeah, it's just everything's. I don't want to get out of hand, and it's. I don't know, just the way that I think of things, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to attest to that. I think James and Sean and Brian and Chris and everybody who was part of the podcast network that was there. If Chris and Brian had 12 hours that they could be there, with family and everything, they would be there. Luckily, Sean and I and James are on the single end, so we're able to move around a little bit easier.
Right, but we don't have kids, so.
I do.
Well,
they just don't live with me.
Right. But we have to say, like, a 12-hour con, that's where we're at. But I see where you're coming from, Tom, where, there are those people that, they like that 10 to 5 schedule or that 10 to 6 schedule. That's how a lot of the cons that Sean and I have been to and Brian, that's really how they're formatted. But you know what? The beauty of it, Tom, is that you were able to run it your way on your schedule and everything there. And you were able to kind of mix it up a little bit. Now, the schedule piece, I have to admit, I actually kind of liked the way that it flowed. I know the microphone. Tom goes over and he's like, here's the microphone, start announcing stuff when you feel like you have to start announcing stuff. And that's a freedom that I really like. So thank you, Tom. I love having the ability to just kind of scare people every once in a while and let them know that something's coming up.
The funny part about the whole microphone thing was, and way, Robin, but I got more compliments when James got on the microphone because they wanted to know who that guy was with the voice.
It's James.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's the other dude over there, so you can
James,
Come through my drive-through, man. It's an experience.
You're
I'll
the
tell you that
voice
much.
of our podcast. That's why we need you.
Exactly.
I'm the voice of a podcast and a coffee shop now. Wow, what's next?
I mean, they thought it was like actually some big time. Like I had it recorded for the con. It was kind of funny.
What?
Wow.
Your voice is
Oh my
that
God, 3 or 4 times a day, man. I get asked if I'm a real person. So yeah, that I'm not surprised, man. But thank you.
Your voice is just that good. That's why.
That's it. I mean, and that's
Thank you.
and that's where I met James the first time around, Tom. I don't know if I ever told you this full story, or if anybody here on the podcast network really knows. I might as well say it tonight about how I met James is because I'm a regular at the Portsmouth Avenue Dunkin' Donuts in Exeter.
It's either a medium or a large cold brew with cream and sugar, a poppy seed bagel toasted with cream cheese, and depending on who's with you or not, a large hot tea with milk and 2 Splenda, if I'm not mistaken.
That
correct?
is,
Yeah.
might as well end the podcast right now.
Was it good this morning?
That was fantastic.
And that's exactly where I met James. Was I heard his voice through the intercom system at Dunkin' Donuts. I was like, dude, right now. And then he started saying the Star Wars stuff. I was like,
Like, dude, I like the patches on your jacket. He's like, hey, man, you know a lot about Star Wars? My buddy, let me tell you something about Star Wars. Yeah.
but that's the story for anybody on the podcast network or anybody who's watching. If that's how I met James and everything and how he became the voice. So that's kind of funny that you say that, Tom, because that's our guy. This is our guy who does all those voices. He's smiling like a 5th grader over here in that school photo day.
And he's boosting my ego. It's great. Not that he needs it.
I mean, that's awesome to hear that people were even asking about that and like saying, who is this guy and everything.
Yeah, that makes me feel really good about it, man, because that's what I'm going to college for, and that is what I would absolutely love to do with my life. And that's just like the people were actually saying that just gives me like the warm fuzzies big time, man.
The thing about this con, it gives people opportunities. It gives James and Tom and you and I, Robin, just opportunities to grow bigger as a con, as a podcast. And that's why I love doing this.
And the fact that Nalini Krishan was what was her Twitter that she was posting about it, and she was actually reposting the link and everything, and she said it was a great experience for her on her public Twitter and everything. I mean, that kind of puts us out there too, and that puts White Mountain Con out there. That puts all of us out there, and it's great.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, experience, and I have to say, and I'm going to throw this to you, Tom. Of all the cons that we've been to as a podcast network, I know we've really only existed now. Sean knows this. We've really only existed for 12 months, and we've seen rapid growth in terms of outreach and everything. And I'll say again, White Mountain Comic-Con was probably one of the best experiences we've had at a con in terms of interacting with fans and even getting to know other people within the media. I never knew about Star Wars autograph news, and he showed up to our table and started talking about some of the stuff that he's doing and everything. And I didn't even know about it. And now he and I are talking about, hey, what con are you going to be at? Book panels left and right, because he's telling me where to go to do panels. Like, we just booked Bangor Comic and Toy Expo this past week, and they heard everything happening at White Mountain Comic-Con, and I have to admit, it was probably the best one for outreach with fans.
I agree.
That's awesome. I mean, well, how about this? White Mountain Comics has only been around for 12 months too. So,
how funny is that?
The comic book show was only started last February. So it's just 13 months old now. And I went from February from last year of holding, opening the shop in Rumney to moving it here and having a Comic-Con in less than 12 months. And that was what I wanted. But that was what I wanted to do. From the minute that I opened the doors and I knew people were going to come in, I knew I was going to have my own Comic-Con. And Lisa can attest to this too. I don't do anything small. If I'm going to go big. And it's either go big or go home.
Yeah, right.
I have nothing to say to that, Tom.
Oh, geez.
And as I'm sure as goes along with that, and you can take this however you want. Thank you for your input.
Wow, this is probably our first live stream that got awkward for just even a little bit. I love it.
Awkward for who?
Well,
I'm liking this.
We got awkward for.
Moving on.
Moving on, absolutely.
But wait, there's more.
There is more, absolutely. Now, one of the things I'm really looking forward to with this next White Mountain Comic Con, if you guys don't know, if you're watching right now, it is November 18th and 19th. I'm going to have Tom forward all the information once we get to the end of this, and we're going to post it up. We're going to be marketing everything that we're doing, and we're so happy to join Tom and everybody at White Mountain Comics once again this coming November. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I just have to say, just from everybody here at the Podcast Network, and James and Sean speak on this as well, but there was something special about, and I don't know if it was the setting alone. I'm somebody who's big about setting for a con. Comic-Con, which was in the basement of the XL Center, and it was just so spread out that you kind of lost your way around. The setup of White Mountain Comic-Con was just very nice and easy. It was tight. It was easy to move around in. I mean, of course, we had people walking out in front of the camera during live streams, but that's not a big deal because that means everything is happening live, of course. So I just have to say, just the setup alone was wonderful, and it allowed the fans to interact with everybody. You could turn left and there's a table. You could turn right and there was a table, or somebody who you wanted to talk to.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that. It made you feel like you were at home. Is basically a bed and breakfast, and and at Hartford, it was really hard to go around, and like you said, a panel over there and a table way over there, and it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, it could be just right, like Three Little Bears. I don't know.
Thanks, Goldilocks.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks, Goldilocks. No.
I completely agree with that. The setting itself, more so than just the con itself. The fact that we were up in the middle of kind of like backwoods New Hampshire, or at least what me as a Hampton Falls kid would consider backwoods New Hampshire. You walk in and it's this really nice. The Common Man Inn is this great. It's just great kind of like rustic. This rustic, for lack of a better stop, pretty much. People can ride their sleds right up to it. There's a bar and a restaurant and everything, and it's great. But you just walk in the back, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by like the kingdom of the geeks, and it was absolutely perfect. Just the way that it was set up, and like Robin said, you turn left and there's a table. You turn right and there's a table that's got like polar opposite stuff. And I got a poster of Batman and the Joker fighting as a Jedi and a Sith Lord, and that's probably the greatest thing that I own now. So the things that they had, that the vendors had, were stuff that you're not really going to find at one of the major cons, because it's all local.
Yeah, I mean, just that local appeal, Tom, I have to admit, it was such a nice touch to a con, because again, you can go to multinational, you can go to New York Comic Con and everything I've been to. I know I have experienced that, where you have these, I'm going to say corporation type businesses. You have Nerdist, you have IGN, you have a lot of these big time kind of corporate geekdom heads, and they take up the con and they take up so many tables that it takes away the local people. I remember a vendor at New York Comic Con was basically shoved into a small little corner next to two big corporate sellers, and their business was hurt by that. I went at the end of the day, and I think I purchased a Darth Revan little figure. It's somewhere in my room somewhere amongst all these other collectibles somewhere. It's probably buried in my boxes too, because you just run out of room when you go to these cons, because you just buy so many of the exclusives. But back to my point is that a lot of these local people get shoved out of the big cons. And what you did, Tom, was you focused on the local. You brought in people like Mitchell Comics, Mike Mitchell and his wife. You brought in, I have to admit, those tables were great.
Oh my God. Hold on. I think I got the business card in my wallet.
But I mean, just a lot of these local people that came in, and some of the connections we made with them were just great. So I have to applaud you, Tom, because
are you talking about repeat table?
Hold on, I'll let you know in a second when I find the card.
He's still fighting it.
Let James have his
time. Let's just make another awkward silence.
Silence is golden.
I bet he's got it.
Probably somewhere. I'll find it later.
All right, but
I give up.
yes, I think Tom said the name there, and
Repeats. Found it. Yes, you're correct.
I know because I have the at table in the other room.
I went to high school with his girlfriend's daughter, apparently, which we found that out about halfway through the con.
Nice.
Look at us.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff is insane. I love his stuff. I'm glad he brought some of it here.
Oh my god. I'm having that though. He said he was building a coffee table for the TIE Fighter around the inside of the Bluetooth speaker. Buying that's going in my living room. Don't care.
But to go back to the big con thing and small tables.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the first thing the first of two cons that gave me the idea to do White Mountain Comic Con. I don't know if anybody's gonna care, but I'm not gonna mention the name of the con. Smallest state. I booked the table and packed up, drove to Rhode Island, got there without having an email correspondence or anything like that. And they told me that I hadn't paid and I couldn't go in, even after showing them my receipts and everything on my phone. So I drove to the smallest state, packed to do a con, and basically they threw me aside. So instead of supporting a local comic book shop, screw you, go home. Even with having all of the paperwork that proved that I paid them through PayPal, yet I still haven't seen any of that money come back either. So I hope that giant corporation that owns that con did that $285 or whatever it was for an 8-foot table.
Whoa.
So
That is expensive.
yeah,
That's just
$285 is what I paid for a table to go to that.
that's not worth it.
Jeez.
And then the next one was a one closer to me, and it doesn't have anything. It's not in New Hampshire. It's not Granicon. Those guys are cool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy with the way that either of them handled it. It absolutely is a business. I didn't do this because I enjoy spending money. I enjoy spending money too. It's a business, and it's absolutely right. But kicking people to the side, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, one of the people that we had there is a local artist from Meredith. Gravity Jump 5 book. I don't know if you guys saw that book.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right. He came into the store probably 2 weeks before the con and wanted to show me his book and see if I'd be interested. And he left me a copy. I read it in 24 hours. It was an amazing book. I loved it. It's written like a movie script. So I called him. I said, listen, I know you didn't know if you wanted to do the con because of the table cost. You didn't know if you were going to make any money. So how about this? How about if I just give you a table and whatever you make, whatever you feel is a decent amount of money to give me at the end, then that's what we'll call it. If you can sell 5 books and you give me $20, awesome. It was fantastic. You started getting your book out there. Long story short, Peter, I don't know how he wants to go by, but I call him Pete. He's never said not to. I guess I could call him Dick and that would be worse, but if he was so pleased that he actually paid full price for a table, which was $65 for a table. He paid for all of that, and he came up. We started discussing some other stuff that we're going to do together as businesses. He wants to do a cosplay contest for his cover, which is one of the characters for the book, the girl on the cover, the redhead. So we're going to be working together doing a lot more stuff. But that's long story short. That's just how that's how it should be done. That's how businesses should be working together instead of, well, you know what? I can't prove that you had a table, so it's that's not the way that I want to take care of, anybody that we deal with business. I mean, screwed by being that kind of a person? Absolutely. Ask my wife. We have lawsuits to prove it. But that's not, I'm not going to stop being the person that I am, other things or other cons doing it to other people. It's just my outlook on things.
Yeah, some of the cons have been doing that to us, like a couple of the past few months, and we just turned them away. It's like, we're not doing that.
You're trying to take the con out of con.
They are. They absolutely are. That, I mean, no, they're actually putting the con in it. They're taking the comic out.
I think you're trying to take the con out of con.
Yeah. They're becoming cons.
I'm giving you credit, Bob.
Like con artists.
That was the pun.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, Tom. That's again what we call in the podcast network. That's what we call drop of the mic. You said that beautifully. I mean, it's like it's really based on the artist and the vendor themselves. It's like if you feel like you're gonna come in here and you're gonna, and that's it too. If they're gonna bring something new, I totally agree with you. Bring them in and have them go through that kind of system. Like, get your stuff out there and pay me how you feel at the end you did. And that's a great business format. And it makes a lot of sense at the local level. And I wish that a lot of other people, maybe they're watching right now, maybe we got some of those con organizers out there who can learn something from Tom about how to run business. Now, maybe he'll copyright this format and then they have to buy that format from him. But I don't know. That's a whole other thing.
Signed and sealed.
Exactly. You can package that kind of format together and then send it off to people.
And actually use sealing wax in a ring.
Yeah, what we can do is we can get a bunch of manila folders. We can print out papers that say "Be a decent person," and we can just ship them to all these people that.
That's more or less what Gandhi tried. We can give it another try.
I mean, all we got to do is we can put it like, you remember the ads in the back of comic books? We can do that, and they can, when you open the book, it'll say, learn how to run a con professional. We'll charge them $19.95, and we'll send them a piece of paper that says, "Be a decent person, don't be a shithead."
No, is that above or below the $2.50 X-ray specs with $7.50 shipping and handling attached to it?
Yeah, well, I just posted something on the White Mountain Comics page today because I was looking through one of an old comics, and it was "Be taller for $1.98."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
I don't know.
For the dollar.
I don't want to be any taller, man.
It was fantastic, but yeah, I mean, we'll throw it right under the hovercraft.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
James.
The best place for those now is in the back of Popular Science magazine. They got some wacko ones back there, man.
I don't know.
Smart answer. Smart answer.
You don't want to.
But yeah, I mean, again, I think the podcast network has to say, I mean, this con was just a wonderful experience. Everything that we had there, and just to even have a table and just to interact with people and then move from, I mean, it was really helpful that our table was so close to where they were running the panels. It was like, hey, let's keep an eye on the table. Let's go back and forth. Hey, and just that fan interaction in between there was great. And again, I can't say enough about that couch. And just that setting for doing the panels itself. I mean, I don't know why more people didn't sit down in those chairs. Like, a lot of people were standing up at times. Those are really rustic chairs, and I would have planted my ass right in one of those in like 2 heartbeats.
I did for a good portion of it. And that might be why most people didn't come over and sit. I was in there.
But just that panel setting was great, and came out so well in terms of live stream, and audio, everything, and even that little the little divider back there. I mean, I already got some ideas, Tom, about what we're gonna do with that area to spruce it up just a little bit, so that when the panelists come in, maybe just a little more gravitas to it. In some ways, that's the first.
You're gonna come out like Bob. You're gonna come out like Bob Baca style from behind the curtain.
I can't do the voice now. It's got to be James. They're asking for him.
Come on down. Crap like that. I don't know.
So I have a funny feeling that issue 2 of White Mountain Comic Con is going to be one hell of a show come November. Tom, where can people find out more information about White Mountain Comic Con issue 2? And where can they find info about White Mountain Comics over on social media?
Let's see. You can go to White Mountain Comics and Collectibles on Facebook. There's White Mountain Comics on Instagram. Don't ask me what White Mountain Comic Con is his own page now. White Mountain Comic Con issue 2 is an event page. Excuse me. We're on Twitter, I think. A lot of these still have the backwoods name attached to them, which I'm going to change a lot of that too. But yeah, I think we're on. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's like Backwoods Farm 1 or something like that, or Backwoods Tom, or
Backwards.
I don't know. I just hit the buttons. That's why they call it a smartphone.
I don't have one.
And not just the con either. I'm gonna do the cheesy thing, and I'm gonna, you guys have to go and you have to look up Mitchell Comics with Mike and Michelle Mitchell. Let's see, Harold Eats Humans on Instagram and Facebook for Harold the Happy Human Eater and Lundberg Graphics. Let's see, who else? You guys, of course, but
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, it's the little things. I mean, there's a ton of people that actually helped so much with this first con. Jeremy and Eli Ellis, they were supposed to be here, but apparently they had like adult things to do or something.
Adult things.
Who does that?
Not us.
You can find those guys at AO2 Cosplay on Facebook. They were Arrow and
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, those guys.
Those guys.
Dem's guys there. Yep.
The one who
right
lost
there,
to Han Solo.
And Han Solo. Oh yeah, we got to thank RW.
Yeah.
The man of 6,332 faces.
After last time in 6,333, he debuted that Force Awakens Solo jacket, which I think he got at Land's End.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man.
And there's exactly 5 more people I want to thank. And that is all 5 of my stupid, spoiled children. All of them except for my oldest, who lives in Germany, but she'll share all of the stuff anyway. And she won't be watching this because it's like 2 a.m.
Danke.
Everybody else is a huge, huge help. I mean, Becca, first cosplay contest, she did amazing. Everybody thought she'd been doing this a couple of times, but she's just like me and she has no filter from here to here. So when she opens her mouth, it doesn't matter what comes out because it's usually pretty funny. It usually gets her in trouble too. But let's see, my second oldest daughter, Allie, which was there for all of 15 minutes, but she is 8.5 months pregnant. And then little Han Solo was running around all day, DJ, and then my little Jawa Brighton. they all helped. They all did something to try to help put that con together. So all of my kids and my wife, for the love of Christ, my messenger's going to go off again if I don't say it.
That's 6
My
people then.
And you know what? You guys want to? Here's another funny story. I left the con to go and pick up DJ and Brighton. DJ and Brighton don't live with me; they live with their biological mother in Connecticut. I would leave to get them. I was gone for all of 4 hours. I came back. Lisa had the entire con. She had everything laid out totally different. She had moved and done everything different than I had planned. Everybody who had come in to set up, and everybody who was leaving came up and thanked her for everything that she had done for the Comic-Con. I looked at her and I looked right at her, and she can tell you this, God's honest truth. I said, "When did you start taking over?" The minute that you left. So, yeah, Lisa is in charge of the Comic-Con now. So you guys are gonna have to go through it.
Okay, see you later, Tom.
Can she like tune in from her end, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing over there? Because if she's the one we should be talking to.
No, Lisa wouldn't sit here. Lisa can't do this. She's at all can't do this. But
Yeah. Awesome. No. Absolutely. Oh, man. I have to admit, great stuff, Tom. There's so many great vendors. I'm glad you mentioned Mike Mitchell, everybody else in the local comics community and everything, shouting them out. Thank you for that. And again, you guys can follow everything happening at White Mountain Comics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're always tagging them and stuff. It's been great doing this live panel. Is like what we do on the podcast here. Tom did his little plug time session there. And Sean, I'm going to throw it over to you. It's plug time once again. Where can the good people find you on social media?
You can find me at Summer Show 1 on Twitter, Zone2434 on Instagram. Follow my music on Bandcamp and SoundCloud, and friend me on Facebook, and keep up with the Brick City Blockade. And thanks a lot, Tom, for everything.
No problem, man. Thank you.
And James, where can they find you on social media?
Given the fact that I am not a very technologically savvy person, I have a Facebook. You can find me. My name is James Brown, and there's a tag next to it that says CEO of Unemployed. So, yeah, except I'm not actually unemployed. I just thought it was funny.
At the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru in
The Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru on Portsmouth Avenue by Exeter Hospital between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. If you want a repeat performance, you're gonna have to buy another coffee.
Too good. James is just too good at doing this. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Vote Tweets. You can also head on over to Instagram, follow me at The Official Vote. Also, make sure to send that friend request over on Facebook. Make sure to check out the Brick City Blockade podcast. This is going to be up on iTunes, and you can watch it here on YouTube, the repeat after this thing gets off live and everything. Make sure to check out our good friend R.W. Martin on Facebook as well, the man of 6,000 and whatever faces. I lost count once we started talking about it.
6,332,
I gotcha.
Too many to count.
Follow us over there. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast network on iTunes. I was just going through all the statistics about our listeners, Tom, and everything, and I have to say we have broken the 1,000 unique listeners here in America and even across Europe as of today. So thank you for making that possible and everything here at the podcast network.
Thank you, guys.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun with everybody here tonight. For Tom, for James, for Sean, podcast network, and as we always say at the podcast network itself,
Let's be with you.
let's be with you.